The Harley Benton TE-62DB is a great deal at only $144 plus shipping. Granted, the shipping, if you're ordering it, comes from Germany and is about $80 to $90, but even at, let's say, $250, the guitar is still a pretty good deal. I've not been able to find this model of HP in their US store on Reverb, so I did order mine from Thomanns in Germany. For some reason, and I'm grateful for it, Thomann somehow sold me the guitar without charging me the $90 shipping charge. When they discovered their error, they informed me they would be honoring the deal. The guitar sat in the box in my shop for the past 6 months. I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. I have not done a full upgrade video on an inexpensive/affordable guitar in a long while, so I decided that I pretty much wanted to gut the guitar by removing the tuner, saddles, electronics, and pickups and replacing them with more expensive models. Do I need to do this? Not really. The guitar out of the box is a pretty playable guitar, and a lot of people just keep it as is. The Alnico 5 pickups are pretty good, and I'd probably replace the saddles and tuners and leave the pickups and electronics alone until I needed to do repairs someday. That, however, is not what I've done. When I'm finished modding the Harley Benton, I want to do something different. I'm not going to compare the TE-62DB against its pre-modded self. I'm going to compare it with a US-made Telecaster 60s Custom, of which this guitar is supposed to be emulating. I'm kind of curious to see if I can get similar sound and tone out of the TE-62DB after changing all that I'm planning on changing out. Here's what I purchased to install in the TE-62DB. A set of Wilkinson brass compensated saddles. A set of Fender Pure Vintage 64 Telecaster pickups. These are actually the same pickups that are in my USA-made version of this guitar. A set of Wilkinson Vintage tuners. And then the electronics, I literally opened up the US-made guitar and I basically copied the entire circuit. Components, design, everything. So it has 2 CTS split shaft pots, 0.047 orange drop capacitor, a Switchcraft output jack, and an Oak Grigsby 3-way switch, or the Fender version of that. Installing everything went uneventful, except for all 6 of the string ferrules came out when I was removing the factory installed strings off of the 62DB. This used to kind of annoy me. Not as much now, since I've had it happen with so many different manufacturers of kind of inexpensive and low-end guitars. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it should be happening, but it's an easy fix. I put a dab of super glue inside the lip of each of the holes on the back of the guitar, and then reinserted the ferrules, and they're pretty much there for good. For the tuners, I left the original tuner ferrules installed and installed the new tuners. I also used the original screws. I didn't want to change the holes or possibly damage the headstock by trying to remove the old ferrules. I was not trying to upgrade the ferrules and screws. I really just wanted to upgrade and get new and more solid tuning mechanisms. Next, I started to reassemble the guitar by pulling and replacing the 2 HP pickups with the Fender pickups. Here's the marketing speak that I pulled from the Fender website describing these pickups. Warm up your Telecaster tone with a set of vintage accurate early 60s single coil Telecaster pickups, which offer hotter, stronger tele twang that's crystal clear and versatile enough for any musical application. I purchased my set, so just because I use marketing jargon, please don't think that I'm a shill for the man. I'm saying this because the other day I was watching a really good video by Philip McKnight where someone asked him if all guitar product YouTubers are not just shills for the companies that they're showing products from. He said that he did not know if it was true of everyone, but a good way to tell is if the presenter uses the same repetitive marketing lingo that's supplied to them and other YouTubers. This is a good indicator they're contractually obligated to say specific things. I regularly will pull language from product websites because I think it's helpful to hear what the producer of the product says their product is designed to do. I do, however, not get any of the products for free or discounted, and I'm not obligated to anyone to use the language. For the wiring circuit, as I said before, I built a traditional Telecaster circuit using really good components. And I did, however, need to replace the knobs and pickup selector switch tip. I also left the output jack from Harley Benton in place and chose for now not to replace it. The fretboard was a little dry, so I added some lemon oil and hand rubbed it in, but this is expected for a guitar that's been sitting in the box for a long while. Overall, I really like the playability of the HP guitar. It's easy to handle. There's no rocking on the fretboard. The edges of the frets are what I would call in the middle. Not smooth, but also not rip the flesh from my hand sharp as I run my hand up and down the sides. The wood and finish they used in making the neck is very nice. It's very pretty. I appreciate the satin finish. The neck is a 12-inch radius and not the 9.5 you would find on the Fender version of the guitar that I'll be comparing to. The neck is described as vintage, caramel maple with a laurel fretboard. The finish on the body is kind of off-red with hints of pink. From a distance it appears as red, it's just not the red you find on the Fenders. It is a standard thick poly finish with cream binding. I am happy with the overall weight of the guitar, weighing in at 7 pounds and 12 ounces, or 3.528 kilos. Now for the comparison. I'm comparing the Harley Benton TE-62DB to my 2020 Fender American Original 60s Telecaster. They're both in pretty much about the same condition, almost new. The pickups are the same in both guitars, and I copied the components and wiring design of the US Fender when I built out the wiring for the HP. Both have the same gauge strings, 10 to 46, and the same maker of strings, Ernie Ball. Some differences that may affect the tone and sound. The US-made neck and body are nitrocellulose, while the Harley Benton is poly. The body on the US-made guitar is alder, and the Harley Benton's body is made of basswood. Both necks are maple. The US-made has a rosewood fretboard, and the Harley Benton has a laurel fretboard. The nut on the US-made guitar is made of bone, and the HP has some sort of artificial plastic nut. I will use the same amp settings, same microphones, same unfiltered recording settings, and same tone and volume settings on the guitars. Tell me what you think.